Light.
On World News Tonight, this Tuesday, the stock market recovers a big chunk of yesterday's loss. How does such a violent swing affect the individual investor? The financial and political crisis in Russia, what can these two diminished leaders do, if anything, about it?
Breaking ball belted deep toward left. There she goes, number 55.
And the race for the record. It takes two to make history. We talk to the one man who knows.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. There was a powerful rally on Wall Street today, but for millions of investors here, there, and everywhere, it was another volatile day. There was more trading today than ever before. More than 1 billion shares changed hands on the New York Stock Exchange alone. There is still enormous anxiety about yesterday's plunge and what it means. But look at the top line there today. That's today's story. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, which tracks many of the most familiar stocks, closed up 288 points, regaining more than half of yesterday's loss. On the NASDAQ market, where technology stocks took such a hammering yesterday, that market had a record gain of 75, almost 76 points, to close at 1575. There is a lot to learn about this. First, we go to the market itself and ABC's Betsy Stark.
Blue chip stocks beaten down yesterday led the market higher today.
Merrill just crushed 25,010.
Bargain hunters snapped up quality names at much lower prices. Merck shot up more than 6.5. Pepsi rose nearly 5. AT&T almost 4. Badly bruised technology stocks also rebounded. Microsoft jumped more than 5. Dell climbed more than 8, and Intel was up more than 4. Still, these stocks are well below their recent highs, and doubts remain about where they're headed from here. For much of the day, the Dow lurched up and down, with investors undecided about the market's direction.
They're going back and forth between greed and fear, and it literally changes on a minute-to-minute basis.
The trillion-dollar question remains. Was today just a fleeting reprieve in an ongoing brutal decline?
I don't think we've seen the bottom yet. History would say after a day like Monday that the market will be very vulnerable to making a lower low somewhere in the next 6 to 12 weeks.
One test ahead, the next batch of corporate earnings. If global economic pressures push them down, investors may have another reason to sell. Today, more big banks warned of losses related to the collapse of Russia's economy. So while an up day is nice, this is still a skittish market susceptible to bad news, and Wall Street isn't sure what's next, Peter.
Thanks very much, Betsy Stark. On Wall Street itself, there's no question we need to take a closer look, given how uncertain investors appear to be, and with an unprecedented number of people invested in the stock market now, 44% of American households, market corrections of this magnitude can be chilling to the individual investor. So how was today? Here's ABC's Morton Dean.
Watching the stock market ticker was an American obsession today. In gyms, outside brokerage offices, in New York's Times Square. And many small investors, like those we found dining at Atlanta's Silver Skillet, said they had an appetite for bargains.
Oh, yeah.
Was he buying today?
Yeah.
The further investors were from retirement age, the more likely they were to see yesterday's plunge as today's opportunity.
It's supposedly a buying opportunity now that things are low, and then that'll help boost. Maybe I'll retire a little earlier.
Most brokers spent the day urging clients to hang in there.
The worst thing you can do is to sell, so don't do any selling.
The McQuids of San Francisco agreed, even though on paper yesterday, they lost more than $20,000.
We feel that the economy is strong, and until I lose confidence, I think, in the economy and the stock market, I'll hang in there.
Still, there are many small investors who are hedging their bets. Last Friday and yesterday, they pulled $3.6 billion out of mutual funds that invest in stocks and parked that money somewhere they considered safer.
I had probably probably about 50 to 60% of my investments in the stock market prior up to 2 weeks ago, and I'm down to probably about 15% of it.
For investors who had survived many ups and downs over the years, it was not the time to buy or sell, but to be philosophical.
I'm not in panic. Let my heirs worry.
Orton Dean, ABC News, New York.
Couple of reminders: the stock market is not an infallible indicator of the overall state of the economy on a 1 or 2 day basis, and consumer confidence in the overall economy is not necessarily linked to how well the market does on days such as yesterday or today. However, what everyone is watching for are signs that gyrations in the market will prompt Americans to stop spending as freely as they have. Remember, 2/3 of the overall economy is generated by what American consumers spend. Here's ABC's Antonio Mora.
It is the engine that drives the U.S. economy. Americans opening their pocketbooks to buy a car in Miami, a refrigerator in Chicago, or a new outfit in New York. Free spending consumers have helped fuel the second longest economic boom since World War II.
As the stock market was going up, people felt more wealthy and were willing to spend a little bit more. As the stock market goes down, they'll feel a little bit less wealthy and will probably spend a little bit less.
And Americans will be less wealthy. Stocks now account for almost a quarter of a typical household's assets, even more than their homes. So it's no surprise that across the country today, many people said they would spend less, or at least more carefully.
I've personally put off some large purchase items, such as big screen TV and other electronics.
Even before the stock market's troubles, consumer spending had started softening. In July, it dropped for the first time in 2 years by 0.2%. Big-ticket items were hit much harder, declining 5.2%, and sales of new homes fell by 1.6%. In New York City, real estate prices and sales had soared with the stock market. Now some are putting on the brakes.
We're currently renting and decided to rent for another year or so while we wait and see what happens with the market.
We've already seen a quick reaction to what went on with the stock market yesterday. We had roughly 10% of our deals on the table, I'm sorry to report, change their minds about signing the contract.
Most analysts think consumer spending will not slow down enough to trigger a recession. With salaries up and unemployment, inflation, and interest rates low, they think this will be only a small hiccup in the country's continued economic growth. Antonio Mora, ABC News, New York.
Quick check in some other countries today. Japan was up nearly 2%. Hong Kong was down almost 3%. Germany down nearly 1%. And markets in Brazil up nearly 7%. In just a moment, the day's other news. A very strange summit meeting. President Clinton steps into the political maelstrom that is Russia today. And a lot of people thought they were million-dollar winners. We're not talking about the market. They were not. Congress wants to know why.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by the makers of new Advil liquid gels.
Trains now go 300 miles an hour. Mail 3,000 miles a second. Athletes continually break records. So how come pain relief isn't faster? Introducing Advil liquid gels, the first and only pain reliever in a faster-acting liquid-filled capsule that's gentle on your stomach. On tough pain, Advil liquid gels are stronger and faster than extra-strength Tylenol. Headaches to muscle aches. New Advil liquid gels. Advanced medicine for pain. Just got faster.
For gas that makes you feel bent out of shape, now the power of Gas X takes a new form. New extra-strength Gas X Liquid with the fastest, most powerful medicine to speed relief. Try new Gas X Liquid, the power to fight gas liquid fast.
You can't control Mother Nature. Experts report that weather patterns are changing fast, making it harder for anyone to say, a flood can't happen to me. In fact, in the last few years, floods have hit all 50 states. Thousands of victims learned too late that homeowners insurance doesn't cover floods, but National Flood Insurance does. Even weather experts can't outsmart Mother Nature. So call your insurance agent, or for free information, call this number now.
In Moscow today, President Clinton began his summit meeting with Boris Yeltsin. Mr. Clinton is in Russia at a time when there is no functioning government, when the acting prime minister has said nothing about his plan to help the country recover, and the country as a whole is in its most profound crisis since the fall of communism. So how can Mr. Clinton hope to help the situation in any way? In Moscow for us, Sam Donaldson.
Presidents Clinton and Yeltsin toasting the future at tonight's state dinner, which capped a day of public and private maneuvering over how much of a future Russia may have. From the moment they greeted each other with an effusive hug in the morning, it was clear that the main focus of their talks would be on whether Yeltsin would and could push through economic reforms. Mr. Clinton told a university audience reforms were absolutely necessary if Russia expected to get any more Western help.
A nation must convince its own citizens and foreigners that they can safely invest. To get your fair share of investment, you have to play by the rules that everyone else has to play by.
The rules, the president said, are belt-tightening reforms, such as resisting the temptation to print money to artificially inflate the economy, and enforcing tax collections, particularly on wealthy speculators. But even as Yeltsin pledged to follow the path of reform, his ability to do so was further threatened. Gennady Zyuganov, the communist leader of the Duma, hardened his party's opposition to ever confirming Viktor Chernomyrdin, Yeltsin's prime minister designate. And other Duma members chimed in.
We do not believe that he is the person that can sort out this mess.
Alexei Arbatov, a non-communist Duma member, says Yeltsin must compromise.
So you say the compromise is to throw Mr. Chernomyrdin over the side?
Right. I think President Yeltsin should suggest another candidate.
But if Chernomyrdin is eventually turned down for good, Yeltsin doesn't have to nominate another candidate. He could dissolve parliament and hold new elections, something he's hinted at. Although he told President Clinton today that some tactical adjustments in the direction of state control might be necessary. All of which produced this unusually blunt assessment of the political struggle from U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Strobe Talbot.
The state of play, of course, is dynamic and it's uncertain, and it is not over, to put it mildly.
But until this political struggle, which is really over Russia's future direction, not just the fate of one nominee, is settled, nothing can be done about the economic crisis, which grows worse daily. President Clinton has talked the talk here, Peter, but when his meetings are over tomorrow, he probably will have made no real impact on the way this drama plays out.
Thanks very much, Sam Donaldson in Moscow. Political news of the Clinton administration. Another person who's worked very closely with Mr. Clinton may soon be looking at an independent counsel. Former Deputy White House Chief of Staff Harold Ickes is the man in question. Attorney General Janet Reno has begun a 90-day preliminary investigation into whether Mr. Ickes lied to a Senate committee which was looking at campaign finance violations. In just a moment, we're going to look at the sweepstakes. So you thought you might have been a millionaire. Think again.
Do you have a love-hate relationship with dairy food?
I love you.
You love to eat it,
I miss you.
but hate the number it does on your stomach?
The cream.
Discover Lactate Ultra. It's not a medicine. It's a natural food supplement that makes dairy easy to
Come
digest.
to mama.
Take it with your first bite, and it'll help you avoid stomach discomfort before it starts, so you can enjoy every little bit of dairy. Lactate Ultra. Put dairy back in your life. For a free sample, call 1-888-ULTRA now.
It's coming. And this time there's something new. Now there's a wind tunnel by Hoover that's self-propelled, so it almost works by itself. Tests show wind tunnel picks up more dirt than any other clean air upright. And now you can get one that's self-propelled. Self-propelled wind tunnel.
Save some hot water. Too late! Honey, turn up the heat.
It is up.
Please let it be him. Let it be him. Please let it be him.
The gas-fueled complete heat system from Lennox.
It's him.
Virtually unlimited hot water and comfortable home heating in one unit. And it runs on economical natural gas, so it's super efficient.
Yes!
The Lennox Complete Heat System. Not just heat, complete heat.
Clean natural gas. Think what you'll save.
At Uniroyal, in order to make a point about our new NailGuard tires, we added a few to our test track. NailGuard tires, designed to seal 90% of tread punctures, instantly and permanently. Only from Uniroyal.
If you can do this, you can make wood beautiful with Minwax. And if you can do this, you can give wood lasting protection. Turning a house into a beautiful home is as easy as turning to Minwax.
There's another big storm headed for the U.S. Tropical Storm Earl is about 240 miles south of New Orleans. Forecasters expect it to become a hurricane, and warnings have been posted from Pascagoula, Mississippi to Cameron, Louisiana. A hurricane watch, not quite as serious, has been set from Destin, Florida to High Island, Texas. Mandatory evacuations have already been ordered due south of New Orleans in Grand Isle, Louisiana, where as of now forecasters think Earl may, emphasis may, come ashore. In Southern California tonight, dramatic evidence that the 1st of September is indeed the traditional start of the wildfire season. Nearly 30,000 acres are burning in several counties. This one is in Riverside County, and it has caused the most property damage so far, 26 homes damaged and 100 residents evacuated. There is increasing pressure tonight on the companies that flood our mailboxes with letters promising instant wealth. And there's also increasing heat on the pitchmen who promote those companies. Today, Congress has heard from a number of people who believe that they were swindled in these sweepstakes. Here's ABC's John Martin.
Senators heard stories about people like George Lum, who flew all the way from Hawaii to Tampa, Florida. Richard Lusk came from California. Doug McKitty from New York.
Where's my money?
They said they had to get to Tampa quickly to claim $11 million in a contest sponsored by American Family Publishers. Letters they received said, "It's down to a two-person race. You and one other person were issued the winning number. Whoever returns it first wins it all."
The numbers match. They cannot deny it.
But Lusk and dozens of others who made the trip were told they had not won anything and to go home. The letters were signed by Dick Clark and Ed McMahon, spokesman for the company, which is 50% owned by Time Warner.
Congratulations, you're a millionaire.
Neither would talk to us, but McMahon did talk to a radio station about the wording.
It says you may join the other winners. There's a may and an if in every... This is not just some company that opened up a storefront. This is Time Warner.
Time Customer Service processes the entries. A former worker says one entrant who came here was a 92-year-old priest desperate to collect the money.
He wanted it to build a school for his church before he died. I mean, it was just... It was heart-wrenching.
American Family Publishers uses the contest to solicit magazine subscriptions. It says it has changed practices to avoid misunderstandings.
We were doing nothing wrong with those mailings, but we wanted to send a strong signal to consumers and policymakers that we were capable of real change.
They haven't changed any of their practices at all.
Gary Betts of Florida's Economic Crimes Unit says the company merely changed a few words.
Their intent is to deceive them. It's illegal, and that's what the whole package is.
Florida is one of 5 states suing American Family, which has already settled with 33 states for $2 million. But as senators seem to agree here today, without new laws, it will be very hard to protect the public from the most cleverly worded sweepstakes promotions. John Martin, ABC News, Washington.
In just a moment, we're going to revisit the U.S. missile attacks after the attacks on the embassies in Africa. The Clinton administration having a hard time answering some questions.
Since I made my chocolate chip cookies better than ever, everyone's talking.
I don't know how you made them better, but you did. They're the bestest ever.
Thank you.
These new cookies rock.
Thanks, dude.
Wow, they're even better than before.
I hear ya.
Pillsbury's best chocolate chip cookies ever. Hot and fresh in only 15 minutes.
Would you like one?
News 2, first to take you inside the area's filthiest eateries. And now, every Wednesday on News 2 at 5 and 10, we'll reveal Nashville's highest and lowest scoring restaurants. Do you know what's on your plate? Find out every Wednesday on News 2 at 5 and 10.
Traffic sounds bad.
Yeah, so tell me about Cantex.
Just jump to 43 even, you're long 20,000.
What's the best way to sell that?
Checking the quote. There's a huge size on the bid, no need to break it up. You can move it as a block.
Good, sell it at market, okay?
Placing an order, moving 20,000.
Moving nowhere in Santa Monica.
Confirmed 20,000 sold at market.
Can you give me the peonies?
1 minute Maalox.
In hospitals, speed counts. Fast-acting medicines, doctors rely on them. So when patients get heartburn, they get 1 minute Maalox, not Pepcid AC.
Maalox goes to work on stomach acid in 1 minute. Pepcid AC could take over 45 minutes to affect acid.
1 minute Maalox.
Hospitals count on it.
Shouldn't you?
The #1 choice for hospitals. It's not Pepcid AC. It's 1 minute Maalox.
Chevrolet would like to bring you this special announcement.
New Chevy cars and trucks are heading your way.
Right now, your local Chevy dealer is offering great deals.
During the 98 Chevy model year clearance, get great deals on the cars more Americans trust. Chevrolet. Plus, until September 14th, these deals just got better. Now get $2,000 cash back or 0.9 financing on Camaro. Choose $1,250 back or 0.9 financing on Malibu. So finish what you're doing, then get to the Chevy model year clearance, because these great summer deals just got hotter.
There are questions again today about the U.S. justification for striking a pharmaceutical plant in the Sudan after those attacks on American embassies in Africa. As we've already reported, since the plant was hit by missiles 2 weeks ago, there has been evidence that it may not, as claimed, be a facility used to make chemical weapons. Tonight, ABC's John Miller has more.
Military and intelligence sources say the Sudanese chemical plant was added to the target list less than 24 hours before the missile strike. Sources say the administration wanted a target in addition to bin Laden's camps in Afghanistan to show the U.S. was moving on what they called bin Laden's worldwide network of operations.
That's just the wrong way to do it.
James Woolsey, a former CIA director, said the president may have approved the targets in a hurry on the basis of too little advice.
This should not be the kind of decision that is made only with 3 or 4 people around you of cabinet level who don't know an IMTA sample from their left foot.
In defending the target choice, intelligence sources and officials have been very busy working the telephones to reporters and members of Congress. They provided an unusual amount of what would normally be highly classified information. Information like the CIA had informants who passed lie detector tests and provided soil samples showing EMTA, a nerve gas precursor, was present outside the factory. But since the attacks, the U.S. has had to back off from conclusive statements that were made on the day of the missile strike. Statements like the factory did not produce medicine. It now appears it did. That it produced a precursor of nerve gas. Officials now say they believe that, but they can't prove that. That the factory was financed by Osama bin Laden. Now officials say they believe there are indirect links to bin Laden. This afternoon, the CIA director and defense secretary gave an unclassified briefing to senators. But tomorrow, the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence closes the doors and asks the tough questions. John Miller, ABC News, New York.
When we come back, the picture, who is part of history, the other side of the story.
All-new Mitsubishi Galant. Totally new styling, nicely equipped at $17,990.
You're on Love Matters. When Love Matters, I'm here to help. Dave?
Yeah, I'm having this problem with my girlfriend. It's kind of involved.
Diarrhea. Get it, and you want it gone.
You're a really good listener, you know.
He needs
Imodium
AD.
Imodium Advanced. It's even better.
Only Imodium Advanced relieves diarrhea plus cramps and bloating by combining 2 medicines, and it's even faster than Imodium AD.
So was I right to invite my mom along on my honeymoon?
Oh, Dave, absolutely.
Imodium Advanced. Faster relief you can count on.
You see a business deal. At Sprint, we see data. Data that lays the groundwork, that allows people to collaborate. It's the sharing of information that helps build business. And with Sprint Ion, our integrated on-demand network, we'll soon be linked together with even greater ease, flexibility, and power. Because business runs on data, and data runs on Sprint.
Black folk never fill up their gas tank all the way. We just put just enough gas in for the trip we going on that particular day. You want me to fill it up, man? No, give me $2. I ain't going that far.
He's George Jefferson and Archie Bunker rolled into one. Darryl Hughley, Tuesday, September 22nd.
Finally from us this evening, a somewhat different take on the home run record chase.
Here comes the 0-1, and Sosa drives one to left field. That's back near the wall. Gone!
With that from Sammy Sosa of the Cubs last night, he and the Cardinals' Mark McGwire are tied in this much-watched, heavily reported race to make Roger Maris's 61 in 61 record a thing of the past. We know one man who will be somewhat relieved. Here's ABC's John Frankel.
Here's the windup. Fastball hit deep to right. This could be it. Way back there.
When Roger Maris belted his way into the record books with his 61st home run, he did not go alone. This is the man who delivered the pitch that day, a 24-year-old rookie, Tracy Stallard.
Probably if that hadn't happened, you'd have never heard my name. So it's kept me alive.
This is Tracy Stallard. In a fairly nondescript 6-year career, Stallard surrendered 91 other home runs, but he's lived with this legacy for 37 years.
Stallard delivers, and he wishes it had never left his hand. I mean, I'm not glad to give up a home run, no, or to lose a ball game. But the way it happened, I'm happy about it.
Now 61, Stallard spends his days golfing, fishing, and helping out some friends in the construction business, who have also set up a website selling baseballs signed by the infamous pitcher.
He sends a rocket deep toward left.
As Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire close in on Maris's record, there is talk about who might be the next Tracy Stallard, who will be in the line of fire and have a career defined by a single pitch knocked out of the ballpark. The Milwaukee Brewer pitchers, a relatively anonymous group, are good candidates. They face McGwire 3 more times, and Sosa another 5, setting the pitchers up for the kind of fame nobody's looking for.
I don't want to be attached to it, and I'd rather make my way in a more positive way.
But there is a very real possibility that one of these pitchers could become a partner in history.
If I'm the one, I just hope I'm not the one to give up both of them, to Sosa and McGwire.
Tracy Stallard is excited by the home run chase. He suggests it is good to have a sense of humor about it, and the pitchers should not be afraid of how time might treat them.
I would say go after them, and if it happens, it happens. Because they're not going to put you in jail.
John Frankel, ABC News, St. Louis.
So many people are rooting for the record to be broken. Tomorrow we're going to go to the one town in America where virtually no one wants to see it fall. And that is our report on World News Tonight. Later this evening on Nightline, with an unpaid army guarding nuclear weapons, how much worse can the crisis in Russia get? I'm Peter Jennings. Nice to be back. Have a good evening. We'll see you tomorrow, I hope. Good night.
Tomorrow, will this be the last summer break your kids will get? It's the latest rage in education, but will it make them smarter? Watch ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.